Hey guys, so really quickly, I am going to be doing some test cuts with my new Silhouette Cameo 3. As you can see on screen, I have a star and the letter N, and I'm just going to run these through the machine using a deep cut blade and fun foam. One of the questions that I know came up was people were curious as to the detail of fun foam and how well it would cut with the deep blade in the new machine. In case you haven't seen it, the deep blade actually does say 2 millimeters on the side, but this is the first um, machine that actually has 2 millimeter clearance without smushing the foam down and distorting it a whole lot. So I have them on screen. I'm going to go ahead and adjust my cut settings. Now, the first thing I noticed when I opened up this cut settings menu is that there isn't an option here for any type of foam on this material list. And additionally, when you go into the advanced settings, you're not going to see an option either for the deep cut blade, which is surprising. But I've gone ahead and I've preset my deep cut blade manually. So I selected ratchet. I manually adjusted the blade itself all the way to a 20, which is the highest setting on the deep cut blade. And I'm going to turn the speed down to a 1. I'm going to put the thickness up to 33, and I'm going to select this all the way over to a 10, even though my blade is actually at a 20, but that's as deep as it goes in the software. Now, I am running the most up-to-date version of Silhouette Studio, so I'm not really sure why I can't go up to or select a deep cut blade, but I'm going to go ahead and cut this out, and I'm going to show you what the end result looks like. Here are my two test pieces, and you can see that there's some nicking at the corners, but it's not horrible. And here's what the two pieces look like cut out. It did a fairly good job with the star. Now on screen it was a little difficult to tell, but this star actually did have a little bit of rounding at the corners. If I selected overcut and I had perfectly straight edges, I probably wouldn't have had any type of pulling. But overall that looks pretty good, especially if you're only planning on using it for kids projects. And the end that I cut out didn't fare quite as well as the edges on this star. It looks pretty good though, all things considered. There is a little bit of a strange angle of cut down here on the tip, and that could be distortion because it was near the roller. There's also a little bit of nicking right here, and you can see that it's the same. It didn't really cut as cleanly as it could have from the foam here, and when I pulled it up I ended up pulling it apart. So this is definitely something that would have cut maybe a little bit cleaner and may have been more salvageable if I used a little bit of patience, but it looks okay considering I ripped it up off the cutting mat and I didn't do any type of cleaning up with a pair of scissors or an X-Acto knife. Just for clarification, I did use a brand new cutting mat. That way I knew I had maximum adhesion down on the mat, and I knew this wasn't going to move around a whole bunch. Overall, I do think the results are decent for cutting the fun foam or craft foam. I think that if I wanted to cut foam, I'd probably stick with the EK Success version of foam. Now that foam is a little bit denser in the way it's made, and it's a little bit thinner, and that's because it's made for EK Success punches, but the colors are very limited. But anyways, I just wanted to give you a quick little peek at a test cut using the new, well, not the new deep cut blade, but a deep cut blade, the new Cameo 3 with the higher clearance on the bar. And I do think the higher clearance on the bar helped a little bit because it didn't compress it down as much as it cut. But anyways, that's it for me, guys. I'll catch you later.